Ever feel like the universe is folding in on itself? That the shattered hopes and whispered dreams of a city can suddenly ignite into something explosive, uncontainable, wild? Like the ghost of all those Lions seasons past the heartbreak, the near misses, the endless wait are about to be shattered by a thunderclap nobody saw coming? Detroit's been a city starved of glory, hardened by decades of pain, but behind the scenes, in the whispers of anonymity and the restless hum of tension, something colossal is brewing. Executives are holding their collective breath, coaches pacing like caged lions themselves, and insiders are whispering a name that could change everything. If you're a Detroit fan, your heart better brace, because this isn't just another off-season rumor. It's the kind of seismic news that could remake the city's football soul. I want you to pour every ounce of that pent-up hope and heartbreak into the comments below. Scream it into the void for all of Detroit to hear. Because what's coming might be the salvation we've waited for since the endless summers of disappointment. The Lions have battled through an avalanche of injuries. 15 defensive warriors gone down, yet somehow clawed their way to the NFC summit with a ferocity nobody could predict. A squad transformed by grit and sheer will. But the cruelest irony struck when it mattered most, when the postseason spotlight exposed every crack. The loss of Aiden Hutchinson, our electric pass rusher who was tearing up Pro Bowls before that devastating broken leg, left our defense a shell of its former self. No sacks, no pressure, no magic against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. The Super Bowl dream evaporated like mist in the dawn, and yet now the tide shifts. Hutchinson is back, healed, hungry, but the front line still screams for backup, a partner in chaos, a force to make opposing quarterbacks tremble. Enter Trey Hendrickson. Yes, you hear me right, Trey Hendrickson, the Cincinnati Bengals' relentless beast. The pass rusher with the numbers, the power, the presence Detroit's defense has been aching for. Rumors, leaked by PFSN insider Brandon Austin, are coming from all directions. Detroit's not just interested, they're positioning to pounce. Salary cap flush with over $50 million in open space for 2025, ready to swallow his contract whole. Hendrickson is already fueling the fire, stepping away from Bengals training camp, retreating to Florida, practically begging for a trade. Think about it. The Lions finally have the ammo to swing for the fences, to pair Hendrickson's raw terror with Hutchinson's refined fury, a tandem capable of reshaping defensive nightmares across the league. This isn't just a good move. It's the blueprint for a championship defense, a once-in-a-generation shakeup that Detroit so desperately needs. We've borne the burden of underperforming linemen, battered and bruised by injuries like Marcus Davenport's recovery, Josh Pascal's struggles, and Levi Onwuzurike's ligament disaster. Depth has been a mirage, talent, a scarce luxury. Now, the Lions stand on the brink of not just filling gaps, but constructing a wall of steel. Meanwhile, Cincinnati quietly admits the calculus letting Hendrickson go could clear dead weight, open doors for draft gold, and reset their own destiny. But here in Detroit, it's more than just a trade. It's a pulse-racing, soul-stirring declaration. We're here, we're hungry, and we're ready to resurrect the pride. From the ashes of the Caldwell-era grief to the tender blossoms of hope blossoming under Dan Campbell's grit, this city has learned what it means to stand back up, to believe again against the odds. But I ask you, what if this move is too little, too late? What if the grind of season's loss has already stolen the best years of a championship run? Or what if it does ignite that fire, tearing through the league with a ferocity no one expected, bringing Detroit not just back to relevance, but all the way to the promised land, the elusive Super Bowl that's mocked us for far too long? Could this be the last real shot at glory before the window creaks shut forever? I don't know. Nobody does. But the suspense is gnawing at us all. And if the domino falls, if this trade moves from whispered rumors to locked-in deals, you won't believe who's next waiting in the wings. Who else is poised to tip the scales and remake the narrative of Detroit football? Because, mark my words, if this alliance of Hendrickson and Hutchinson materializes, the Lions aren't just coming back from the dead, they're coming for blood. The fuse has been lit, and all that remains is the breathtaking wait for the explosion that could shake the NFL to its core. Stick with us here, because when it happens, you'll want to say, I was there. I saw it first. Break the chains, Lions fans. This is the moment we've all been screaming for in our nights. Of despair and hope alike, because the lion roars again, and this roar is deafening. It's the call to arms that could redefine our legacy and shatter the centuries of heartbreak that have haunted Detroit's football soul. And let me tell you, I've seen all the apex and the abyss like the 0-16 season that haunted our nightmares, or the terrifying days when Dan Orlovsky darted to the back of the end zone just to avoid that sack, clutching onto a fleeting hope that someday, somehow, we'd rise. I've watched Calvin Johnson hang up his cleats, exhausted from years of carrying our offense on his shoulders, and Barry Sanders slipping into the shadows, refusing the NFL superficial fame because his heart was with Detroit's battered pride and Jim Caldwell's firing that felt like a death blow, a message that resilience was no longer enough when the league chewed you up and spat you out. But here's the truth. Each scar, each heartbreak has forged an unbreakable will inside us, a fierce hunger that refuses to be quenched. And now, as the NFC glut steps into chaos, rivals whisper fearful secrets of Detroit's resurgence. The whispers in Allen Park grow louder, the coaches pacing more fervently, and the front office's chessboard tightens as they maneuver for a move that could redefine the entire league. See, we've desperately needed that spark, that game changer, a freak pass rusher who can turn the tide and ignite the defense like a wildfire entered Trey Hendrickson. The man's a beast, relentless, unyielding, a force of nature who's as hungry for glory as we've been for decades awaiting, and with Hutchinson returning from injury, the sight of those two terrorizing quarterbacks is more than just a fantasy. It's a seismic shift, a statement that Detroit isn't here to play. We're here to dominate. To claim what's ours, championship glory, is no longer just a dream. It's a looming thunderstorm on the horizon, and the NFL is trembling because this move isn't just a gamble. It's the declaration of war, a rallying cry echoed through the streets of Detroit, through the slums, the suburbs, the smoky bars where the scars of lost seasons still linger. Think about it, $50 million in cap space. A blank check that the front office is willing to cash in for this singular moment. Because Hendrickson's patching the hole that's haunted us since we lost Ziggy Ansah, since the days when our defense got torn apart like a paper target. This isn't just a trade, it's a revolution. The Bengals know it too. They're resetting, unloading dead weight to chase a draft gold rush. But Detroit sees a window wide open right now while the rivals scramble. We build our fortress of steel because underneath it all, beneath the roar of the crowd and the pounding drums of hope, there's a fury echoing that we're tired of waiting, tired of being the punchline, tired of being told Detroit isn't a football town. Because when Hendrickson and Hutchinson line up side by side, they're not just players, they're a message, a declaration that the Lions have finally awakened, that the scars of Barry Sanders' late exit, Megatron's retirement, and Caldwell's firing are scars of the past, because this is our rebirth. This is Detroit claiming its rightful place atop the NFL pantheon, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This move could be the turning point where decades of pain become history. But I ask you, what if they hold on to Hendrickson just a little too long? What if this move slips away in the chaos of the offseason? Or worse, what if the league's vultures circle around and snatch this moment from us, leaving us staring at another offseason of empty promises and broken dreams? Do we dare believe this is finally the dawn? Or is it another false hope that will bleed us dry when the games finally start and the stakes are higher than ever? The clock is ticking, the dominoes are trembling, and the whole league is watching every move, waiting to see whether Detroit's quiet storm will finally erupt or if we'll be left in the shadows once more. Because the question lingers, are we ready to burn everything down and rise again? Or will history swallow us whole once more and leave Detroit's football pride smoldering, a ghostly echo of the new era just beyond our reach?